Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the Back Office Teardown Lab. Sometimes you need to get into things that you don't have the key for, and you need a tool. You can go online and buy all these, they're next to nothing, or you can be like me and decide you're going to make your own. So the first thing you need is a nice bit of flexible steel, and you get this sort of spring steel in windscreen wipers. So no doubt you've chucked out squillions of those. So I'm just going to pull one out of here. Look, this is almost an infinite supply of this material, by the way. It's a massive piece. You could make a lot out of these. And the idea is you need to make a couple of tools out of it. And you've got two tools you need to make. One that's used to provide the twisting torque that you have on a key. So when you put a key in a lock, of course, you have a twisting torque. And that's normally provided by the big body part. And amazingly, I don't have a key to hand. So you just have to imagine that. And you can imagine if I'm trying to put this in, you're going to need to twist that. And then you need another piece, which is the actual pick itself, which you're going to use to rake the pins. So you've got pins in there. And the idea basically is, as you jostle those pins, because you're providing a torque onto the actual barrel, those pins are always a little bit imperfect and they'll be a little bit bitey. So as you rake up and down, they go up into a little hole, and because you're twisting this ever so slightly, they won't come down. That's the trick. Now remember, locks have different height keys and different things like that. There's all sorts of complications, but don't worry about that. You're just picking the lock. You don't need to know how it works, because most simple locks like this you'll be able to rake pretty easily. In fact, I'm almost tempted just to try it before we even make a proper picking tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut this. Well, I think I could probably just snap it, but I'm just going to cut it with some of these aviation snips. And you can see that's not going to happen. So that's why it's so springy. You can make bike locks out of it. So I'm going to try to snap this. Again, this might not work. I might have to go and take it and actually put it on a saw somewhere. Oh, so you wouldn't think that windscreen wipers had this amazing material in it, but it's because they have to go backwards and forwards, and as they contour over your windscreen, they're continuously flexing, and this is the only stuff that will do that. Ugh. And if you don't want it to snap into your fingers when it eventually does go, probably a pliers might do it. Yeah, look at that, pliers, that's the way. And I'm just moving it back and forth, and then look, it's snapped. Hurrah! And then I'm going to take about 1.5 centimetres in, and I'm just going to apply a 90-degree bend, like so. It's probably a bit long, that's it, maybe a bit shorter. See how you get on with it. And imagine you putting a key in this. You're going to put it in, and you normally turn it clockwise. So I'm just basically popping that in, and I'm going to twist this. See, as if I'm twisting the key. So I'm pushing that force on here. So that lock is now being twisted, has that twisting motion on it. And now I have to make the pick, and the pick is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. I might actually have to go away and use a tool for this, but I did say I was going to try to pick it without even flexing that. So I'm going to try to rake this in and out. Yeah, that's probably actually did I just feel that give a little bit? No. It's probably a little bit too chubby as it stands to fit in with everything else that's going on. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just take this away. I'm just going to cut it, and I'm just going to shape it on the actual bench sanding machine I've got out there. But you'll see what it looks like when I come back with it. That literally took about 2 seconds. We're going to try this. This is my V1 profile. And if you go and just have a look online, you can see what sort of shapes you need. Nothing too special. And it's probably still a wee bit big. And they do have special jigs, by the way, for holding padlocks if you're just picking them for fun. Right, let's get it in there. So I'm just raking it up and down. So raking, just basically you're dragging it across the pins nice and fast. It feels a bit crusty in here, to be fair, as well. Let's give it a tiny bit of lube. I just happen to have this here from another project. This is just standard silicone lube. Oh, that's better. You can see the pins moving now. I'll zoom in so you can have a little look. See the pins in there? And you're using this to pick them like that. You're just pushing it all the way to the bottom, and you're kind of running it like this to the... Yeah, you're doing that kind of motion. You're just jiggling it in and out. You can hear it. And that's that raking sound. But you're not going to get too far without your twist. So we do still need that twist. Always with the twist. And you need to grow an extra pair of hands. You really do. Okay. Right, I think we're kind of set here. As long as we don't have to pull that lock down at the same time, I think we're okay. So I think I'd make this a tiny bit pointier so it can push its way in. It's a bit tricky at the minute because it doesn't want to go in there. So maybe that's the next mod. Let's make that tiny bit pointier, that'll be a bit faster. And also, if that was just a little bit thinner, it would fit in that way and just be really out the way. Again, so tempting. When you've got the tools to do this, you know, these adjustments to your other tools, your picks, just go do it. Why not? Maybe also if you set a little handle on these once you've got them nice. I'm just going to work that now. Oh, there we go. Hurrah! Now that was not a fluke, that did just happen. It does happen. I'm going to modify this slightly now as well. Let's see if we can get to like a V2 of this bit. It's a tiny bit thinner now, so we'll reset the lock. So you can see I'm not lying, it really is locked. Now I'm hoping that one to work that way, but looking at it I don't think it will. I think it's just going to torque out. Ready? Yeah, it just torques itself out, but it is a tiny bit thinner. Let's just put that in, that pressure. So I'm pushing on this that way, and I've got me doodad and just rummaging it around, for lack of a better word. So I'm using it to press against, say, all the pins at once, and then I'm just flicking it, I guess, up and down. If you want to, you can, you know, it's going to take a bit of finessing. You can feel your way, but every now and then though you want to loosen this, you want to let go a bit. It's hard to describe, you'll just get that feel. I think it's, you'll know you've kind of gone wrong and you've sort of maybe putting too much pressure on that, and you want to loosen it off so the pins just sort of go back, reset themselves, and then you can get in there and rake again. Very hard to describe, but get a cheap lock. Start with the cheapest, nastiest Poundland lock, and then play at it. You'll get it, I promise you. It might take a little while, but you will get it. You can hear that. Listen now. I'm going to put too much pressure on. I'm going to push all the pins, put a lot of pressure, and I'm going to hold up the speaker, and you can listen. Hold up to the microphone rather, listen. You hear that? Do you hear them unclicking? They go ting 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 ting. Because remember, you can go too far. Right, so then the funny thing is, once you get used to doing a particular lock, you'll be able to do that particular lock very easy. It doesn't necessarily mean all those locks will be easy, just that particular one. You've learnt its ways, the ways of the lock. So you can see we did it last time. Didn't know quite how we did it, so we're not repeating that right now, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure out the trick to this sterling lock. Oh, there you go. Woohoo! So, another log bites the dust, eventually, through random groping around with some stuff in the end of it. So hopefully that's given you a primer on something. So if you've got like a server rack or something you're trying to get into because you forgot the key, you could get yourself out of trouble. I'll zoom in again though on the profile I ended up with, but you know, you can modify this. There's definitely lots of profiles you can have, lots of shapes that will give you benefits. Little zigs, little zags. See what you can do. If you've got a Dremel and you've got a spare wiper blade, why not have a go? Go make yourself one, see what happens. Could be a bit of fun for you. And you could get into that old stoiling lock you've been having so much trouble with. And look, you could keep them in your pocket. Nobody's ever going to question you about that at all. So hopefully that's some use to you. Please like, share, subscribe if you're that way inclined. And leave your lockpicking comments down below and let's have a chat about it. All the links are in the description. And of course, if you want to buy me a coffee, jump onto Patreon. And I will appreciate that muchly. As ever, thanks for watching. Hey, nicely done.